With breaking news happening now, this is a Wave News Alert.
I'm Shannon Kogan. Let's get to that Wave News Alert this morning. A man is dead after police say he grabbed a knife and moved toward officers. Marissa Burks in the studio sharing what we know in this Wave News Alert.
LMPD says this is a tragedy for the family of the man and the department. Interim Chief Paul Humphrey says they tried to de-escalate the situation before things got deadly. Officers were called to the 6600 block of Eaglewood Drive. Interim Chief Humphrey says when they got there, they found a man who seemed to be agitated inside a home with other family members. The family got out safely. Officers tried to de-escalate the situation. Then they say the man picked up a knife. LMPD officers continue asking the man to put down the knife. Interim Chief Humphrey explained what happened next.
During that conversation, the subject exited the home and began to advance towards officers with the knife in hand. Multiple officers deployed less lethal, including a 40mm foam baton round and taser, as well as several other officers deployed their firearms, shooting and striking the subject multiple times.
Despite a quick response to help the man after he was shot, we're told he died there at the scene. The Public Integrity Unit will review this case. If anyone has information that may help the investigation, call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD. Per LMPD's policy, the body-worn camera footage will be released in 10 business days. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
All right, Marissa, thank you so much. At 6 o'clock on this Friday, thanks for joining us this morning. Maybe you want to get yourself a big bowl of French fries to sit and watch the opening ceremony tonight.
Aren't those Belgian?
I don't know. It has the word French in it.
That counts.
Okay,
French
make
fries,
it a
French
baguette.
toast, French coffee.
Croissant. Croissant is what Olivia
A
wants.
baguette.
A baguette. I know. I'm so excited about this opening ceremony. It sounds like it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I just really hope the weather holds out because they do have some rain chances in there.
That would not be good.
But I feel like that just makes it a little bit more interesting, right? You know, spice up the things a little bit more. For those of you heading out right now, we're sitting in the 60s and the low 70s across the region. A little bit cooler for the northern fringes of wave country because you've had clearer skies overnight and you have some lower humidity in your area. Overall, most of us dealing with these upper level clouds. The one lonely downpour that we saw pop in Spencer County is now out of our region. So we'll be keeping an eye on a few more of those trying to pop throughout the day, especially for later on this afternoon across Kentucky. But for most of us, just those high level clouds across our region with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Now in the metro, we could touch that 90-degree mark. And also for those of you in portions of southern Indiana where you see more of that clear blue sky, that is where we can see those highs near 92. Getting into the weekend, upper 80s and low 90s for more of us as we keep that sunshine around. And by your Sunday, going to see highs in the low to mid 80s across the area. Cooler as we deal with several rounds of heavy rain in the forecast. It does look like we're ending the weekend on an active note, so keep that in mind if you have any outdoor plans. Olivia?
So we can download the Wave Weather app and be ready for that. Plus, we also have traffic on the app, so something you want to check out. I mean, it's not something we're used to seeing at 6 a.m. Little bit of a red backup on the Snyder northbound. This is near Shelbyville Road, and we can see on our cameras it looks just a little bit backed up. It's not a massive traffic jam by any means, but it is a construction zone, so we know things tend to go slower in that area. Around the rest of the metro, just 2 stalled vehicles out there, and it looks like we have a crash in southern Indiana. We're going to look into that, but right now it doesn't look like it's affecting traffic, so that's at least some good news for your Friday morning.
Today was a big step as we ultimately achieved justice partially for Lil Don Williams. There's still a second shooter, but I expect that charges will be filed imminently. Today was an important domino to fall, and I think that's going to be a ripple effect.
That's the Harrison County prosecutor talking about the conviction of the man for a deadly shooting at an Indiana casino, and now that ripple effect continues. This week, Antoine Proctor was sentenced for the execution-style killing outside Caesars Southern Indiana casino. And now we've learned charges have been filed accusing a second man of murder. Harrison County prosecuting attorney Otto Schock posted a picture of Chaz Davis on Facebook. He says Davis is charged with the murder in the death of Lil Don Williams. Investigators say evidence shows Proctor and another shooter had waited more than 3 hours for Williams Williams to go back to his vehicle in the casino's parking garage before killing him. Officials had previously said a death of a family member and revenge may have been a motive for that murder, but nothing concrete's been released. Proctor was sentenced to 45 years in prison this week. At last check, Davis has not been booked into the Harrison County Jail. A handful of violent incidents across the metro last night, now under investigation by police. A 17-year-old's in the hospital this morning after being shot in Okolona. It happened last night just after 10 on Blue Lick Road near the Circle K. Police say when officers got there, they could not find the victim. Then officers discovered the teen was near Fern Valley Road and Preston Highway. He was inside a car. He'd been shot several times. He was taken to U of L Hospital and should survive. The LMPD non-fatal shooting unit is investigating. And police are looking into a fight that led to a shooting at Derby City Gaming. Police say it happened outside the Poplar Level Road location about 8:30 last night. Officers say they were called there because of the fight, and they found a man shot. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. LMPD did not say if the shooter was arrested. A little before that, though, another man was hurt in a shooting near Watterson Lake Park. It happened on Beach Avenue about 7. Police say the man was shot several times but is expected to be okay. No arrests have been made. Governor Beshear says he is humbled to be considered as a possible running mate for Vice President Kamala Harris. We now know he is being vetted to be a VP candidate, but he's not the only contender being vetted. A source tells us the governor's team has provided vetting materials to the Harris campaign. Beshear is one of several potential VP candidates. Yesterday, during his Team Kentucky meeting, he did not reveal much of his communication with the VP candidate. 7 months ago, he said Washington wasn't an interest, but the governor says he wants to do something to benefit Kentucky if he's offered that opportunity.
Again, the only way that I would consider accepting anything else is if I believe that I can help this state and this country more in a different way.
The Harris campaign has not said when a vice presidential candidate will be announced. A campaign spokesperson for former President Donald Trump says all of Harris's potential running mates are interchangeable and that the choice doesn't matter. Jefferson County Clerk's offices were the target of a Russian cyber attack. The hacking closed those offices since Tuesday. Closure notices were posted on the doors, but those signs could be coming down as early as today. Jefferson County Clerk Bobby Holzclaw says no one's personal information was compromised during the attack. Neighboring counties are pitching in and opening their doors to Jefferson County customers if there's an immediate need for service. But there's no time frame for how long these other counties will be offering their services. Online renewals are still being accepted, and new tags and registration are on track to be sent to customers on time.
We would request that July renewals are the folks who we're seeing in those offices so we can assist them first. If you have an August renewal, we're asking that you be patient, and Jefferson County is going to be back up and running as quickly as possible.
Some Jefferson County branches are expected back open today, starting first with the Dixie Highway location. The clerk hopes all branches will reopen by Monday. Ahead of the new school year, JCPS is ramping up security with more officers and new technology. We've told you some of the ways the district is working to increase security, and now we're getting a deeper look. The JCPS Police Department has hired 34 new officers, bringing the department's total number of officers to 40. The department is still looking to fill more than a dozen vacancies. Each officer will now be assigned to patrol a primary high school or middle school and designated elementary schools in the same geographical area. JCPS also has a district operations center. It's fully staffed 24/7 with 8 dispatchers, allowing districts to coordinate with outside agencies in emergency situations. JCPS Police Chief Todd Kessinger said this new strategy will aim to cut down on response times.
It makes it us less reliant on outside law enforcement having to respond to our schools, and we have a quicker response time.
This past year, the district has also been rolling out new weapons detection systems. Board members noted the new systems already are producing results with fewer weapons being brought to school. 10 firearms were found during this past school year, but the year before that, 28 firearms were discovered. Next week, a federal judge will hear arguments on whether JCPS's new transportation plan violates students' civil rights. Several families are suing the district and requesting the judge issue a temporary restraining order against JCPS. The families claim cutting bus routes to magnet and traditional schools disproportionately impacts black students. A lawyer representing the group says the restraining order would force the district to provide adequate transportation. A hearing is set for August 2nd, and then the first day of school for JCPS students is August 8th. New search warrants in the Jamie Knoll investigation raise new questions about his influence on political leaders approving New Chapel EMS contracts. Those documents reveal he used the company's credit card to pay for several flights with a council member he was having an affair with. We revealed last year former Clark County council member Brittany Faree sued Knoll for paternity, ultimately settling the case after arranging child support and medical payments. The warrants show Faree took 3 trips with Knoll to New York City, Tampa, Florida, and New Orleans, all paid for using New Chapel's credit card for all the flights. She also admitted to being in a romantic relationship with Knoll and said she voted to fund his EMS contracts during that time. Faree never recused herself from voting or revealed their relationship. She also did not file any conflict of interest form with the county. These warrants follow our reporting this week by our troubleshooters. State police have been investigating council member John Miller. He is listed as a paid driver on New Chapel's roster in 2021 and had voted to approve funding on New Chapel's contracts. But he told us he was just a volunteer and denied breaking Indiana's conflict of interest law. 6:10 right now. Tawana?
And what we're going to see across the region for today, more of these upper level clouds overhead with temperatures getting into the mid to upper 80s across our region. Also going to keep an eye on a stray downpour or two, but for the majority of us, it's just going to be dry. Looking ahead to the weekend, we do have some rain chances coming our way. Let you know when they're expected to show up after the break.
Oh, it's 6:11. A live look right now at Paris, the site of the 2024 Summer Olympics, and we're just hours away from it all kicking off. A look at how they're increasing security in that area. Also, get ready. Caesars is going to introduce boxing and bourbon. It's a big new event coming up. We'll have details for you coming up on Sunrise.
Now, Wave News.
2 of this area's favorite pastimes coming together at Caesars in a couple of months. Organizers are excited about it. It's a first for the casino in more than 10 years.
You know, Louisville is essentially the home of the greatest, and there's so many good boxers, so many great legends that came out of Louisville, and we want to continue that legacy on a grand scale.
Oh, it's called Bourbon and Boxing. It's a black tie event. How fun would that be coming to Wave Country? So the matchup will feature an 8-bout card with professional fighters coming from all over the world and Louisville, and they'll have some bourbon tastings too. This is going to happen September 13th. The first bell is at 8. For more information, go to bourbonandboxingllc.com. That sounds like a fun event, doesn't it?
It definitely does. It reminds me I need to contact my trainer so I can go boxing today.
Maybe you'll be one of the boxers.
No, I like my face. I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. I try to avoid getting hit. But shout out to all the boxers who will be taking part in that event. For those of you heading out this morning, we are seeing temperatures right now in the 60s and 70s as we have the clouds overhead and the stationary front sitting to our south. Now, with this front nearby, we still have that potential for a few isolated downpours. We saw one tracking through Spencer County earlier this morning, but now we are all dry and keeping those clouds overhead. You can certainly see those clouds now on the storm tracker as it's traveling through portions of the metro, so that should make for an interesting sunrise for a lot of us. Temperatures right now for those of you south of 64, mainly in those upper 60s and low 70s, a little bit cooler further to the north in Indiana because you've had thinner clouds overhead and that humidity not as high in your area, so that helps your temperatures drop a little bit more. As we continue throughout the day today, we're going to keep these mid to upper level clouds overhead. Temperatures getting into the mid to upper 80s for your highs. There's still that potential for a stray downpour or two later on this afternoon into the evening, especially for those of you along and south of the parkways, but most of us will be dry. Now, some of these clouds will try to clear overnight into early tomorrow morning, and that should help with our temperatures dropping down a little bit more to start off our Saturday. But for tonight, for those of you heading to Racing Louisville's game against NC Courage, I'll see you there. We'll start off with those temperatures initially in the low 80s, falling through the 70s as the match wears on. Now, once we get into later on tonight, early tomorrow, a lot of us will fall down into the 60s. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a couple of upper 50s showing up in portions of southern Indiana. Getting into your Saturday, it's all about that heat, humidity coming back our way with temperatures into the upper 80s and low 90s for highs. Mainly talking about 80s for those of you heading to the Meade County Fair for the last day of that. For tomorrow, only an isolated rain chance in your forecast. And then maybe you're heading to the Lucy FC matchup against Monterey Bay. That weather is looking good with temperatures initially in the mid-80s falling down into the 70s as that match goes along. So a lot happening this weekend. If you have any outdoor plans for Sunday, I know there's a lot of events going on in addition to the ones that I mentioned. And for those that last into Sunday, especially for the dainty contest too, we're going to be seeing temperatures in those 80s for highs, low to mid-80s, with additional rounds of showers and thunderstorms with this area of low pressure pushing towards us. Now, I was going to tap into some of that Gulf moisture, the Gulf of Mexico moisture, which means torrential tropical downpours are possible as this system moves through for your Sunday and Monday. So that's some locally heavy rain that could lead to some localized flooding in some spots, so we'll have to watch for that. Additional scattered showers and thunderstorms for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, a little bit drier and hotter towards next Thursday and Friday, and then we'll watch for even more of those showers and thunderstorms showing up for the following weekend.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, over $5 billion in grants and scholarships.
Thanks for those pictures. Okay, Tawana, take us through the next 10 days right now.
Well, we'll have a lot going on over the next 10 days. For today, seeing some quiet conditions, highs near 90 degrees. Then we head into tomorrow, upper 80s, low 90s. For today and tomorrow, there is an isolated rain chance mainly across Kentucky, but most of us look to stay dry. Now, for everybody, we add in those rain chances for Sunday and Monday as we have this area of low pressure moving towards us, and with that, we can see several rounds of heavy rain. For Tuesday and Wednesday, still some scattered showers and thunderstorms around, and notice we got a little bit hotter then as our rain chances start to slowly go down, keeping the heat, keeping that humidity around for the end of the next work week before we see, a little bit more rain as we get towards the following Saturday and Sunday. So overall, that summer heat will try to build, and we'll have to keep a very close eye on those heavy downpours in the forecast as well.
Thanks, Tawana. We're just hours away from the opening ceremony for the Paris Summer Olympics. Officials say safety, of course, a huge priority. This morning, a French railway says high-speed lines have been hit by several malicious attacks that have disrupted traffic during what will be a very busy day for the country. Now, while government officials denounce the incidents and say there was no immediate sign of a link to the games, it shows an obvious reason why law enforcement is taking security seriously. Paris has promoted its anti-terrorism security efforts in the months leading up to opening night. Wave News reporter Natalia Martinez was on vacation traveling in Paris the week before the games. She says the security measures were already in full effect. Some of the 10,000 soldiers walking the streets had guns in hands. There was miles of fencing, roadblocks at many popular attractions, and visitors were required to have pre-verified QR codes to enter various zones. Without them, access to very popular sites was unattainable, or you had to walk all around certain closures.
Never seen as many policemen in Paris since ever. It's my first. I think there are more policemen than tourists in Paris right now.
Wow, and one driver told Natalia it's cut his business by more than half. The rides they do accept also take twice as long right now. So while Paris is getting ready to host one of the biggest celebrations in the world, Paris, Kentucky is also getting ready for the Olympics. The small town of about 10,000 people in central Kentucky was named after the capital of France because French soldiers helped the area during the Revolutionary War. And some shops are celebrating the Olympics. They're flying the French flag and serving baked goods like baguettes and croissants. Business owners hope the Olympics inspire more people to visit Paris, Kentucky.
A town called Paris is obviously paying homage to our mother country, so to speak, of France. So we try to embrace both the rustic baked goods of the South and the European influenced baked goods of France.
Those croissants look so delicious. For more information about Paris, Kentucky, including the Eiffel Tower they even have there, go to wave3.com. Now let's go to Olivia for your Olympics updates right now from Paris.
And Shannon, we are counting down to the opening ceremony, just a few hours away at this point. And for the first time ever, it will take place outside of a stadium. More than 10,000 athletes will be boarding boats for a floating parade of nations on the Seine. 3,000 dancers, actors, even pop stars will be part of the extravaganza. Tightrope walkers, daredevils, acrobats will all perform along the nearly 4-mile route. There will even be floating pianos and helicopters, and the show will end with a massive laser show finale beamed from the Eiffel Tower. Organizers are calling it the biggest open-air show on Earth. Yeah, a lot to live up to there. The Olympic Torch Relay traveled through the Seine-Saint-Denis department of the suburbs of Paris on Thursday, and it will end at the opening ceremony. So much to be excited for, and we'll keep you updated with all of your Olympics updates throughout the games right here on Sunrise. Stick with us. We have more to come after the break.
With breaking news happening now, this is a Wave News Alert.
I'm Shannon Kogan. We're staying on top of this breaking news this morning. LMPD's Public Integrity Unit is investigating after officers shot and killed a man late last night. Wave News reporter Marissa Burke in the studio talking about what we know so far.
Officers were called to the 6600 block of Eaglewood Drive near Valley Station. Interim Chief Paul Humphrey says when they arrived, they found a man who seemed to be agitated inside a home with other family members. The family got out safely. Officers tried to calm the man down and de-escalate the situation. Interim Chief Humphrey says the man picked up a knife. He says his officers continued trying to get the man to put down the knife, but he didn't. When he came at police with the knife in his hand, Chief Humphrey says some of the responding officers fired their tasers and others shot their guns. Despite officers' quick response to help the man after he was shot, they say he died there.
This is obviously a tragedy, and we want to recognize the loss of life here and that this is a distressing moment for both the officers as well as the family. However, we are grateful that no one else was injured in this incident.
The name of the man has not been released. Per LMPD policy, the body-worn camera footage of this incident will be released in 10 business days. If anyone has information that may help the investigation, call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Marissa, thank you. All right, you made it to Friday, opening ceremony of the Olympics tonight. Can't wait to watch it. You can watch it right here on Wave. Beautiful Eiffel Tower. So it could rain a little bit tonight.
Yeah, they're looking at rain. They're watching the clouds overhead. So it's not like the most beautiful of days, but their highs are in the low 70s. So I'm not going to complain about that if we had it. What we're seeing right now as we're looking towards, from Jeffersonville towards downtown Louisville, is of course those upper level clouds for today. So we're going to be watching those really just filtering out that sunshine as the day goes along. Your temperature's not too shabby, sitting in the 60s and low 70s across the region for this morning. As we head into the afternoon, we're going to do our best to warm up. Right now, not dealing with any rain, but the radar is picking up those batch of birds that are always taking off at this time in Oldham County. We are going to be keeping an eye on isolated rain chance as the day goes along, but overall for most of us, just talking about the upper level clouds, highs in those mid to upper 80s across our region. Now, as we look ahead, we will be seeing some beautiful weather for those of you maybe heading to Lynn Family Stadium later on this evening, with those temperatures in the low 80s initially as racing takes on NC Courage for the Summer Cup later on this evening, and then we'll be cooling down through the 70s as the night wears on. Getting into tomorrow, we have so many festivals happening this weekend, and for the ones that are on Saturday and Sunday, keep in mind Saturday's forecast a little bit hotter, highs in the upper 80s and low 90s, but Sunday's forecast featuring cooler temperatures and some rounds of rain. Now, Sunday not looking like a complete washout, but you certainly will need your rain gear then, especially since that rain could be very heavy in some spots. Olivia.
We'll be ready for it. And your traffic this morning, I know we've been watching that congestion on the Snyder northbound near Shelbyville Road. Good news, looking green now, so can't complain about that. 2 stalled vehicles out there, one by the Snyder near 71 and then on 65 northbound. And you can see a little crash icon just kind of peeking out there in southern Indiana. I checked it out on the cameras, didn't see anything there, so at least no delays this morning in that area. Our Metro traffic cameras are showing some pretty quiet roads this morning with great speeds. Shannon.
Thanks, Olivia. The Pleasant Valley Community Church in Owensboro remembering the short life of Ohio County infant Maya Rudd. Kentucky State Police troopers found Maya dead inside her parents' home. The Owensboro community came together to honor Maya last night, and they wrapped it up with a candlelight vigil. The pastor of Pleasant Valley Community Church says many people are grieving, and he's telling them not to do it alone.
I would encourage those that need to grieve not to suppress that, not to dismiss that, but to open it up, but to do so in a safe environment and among people, but in particular in the presence of Jesus, who gets it and who can sympathize.
Maya's parents and other family members are now behind bars after their involvement with her disappearance and death. Community members were encouraged to bring any essential items for Maya's siblings. They're 1, 2, and 7 years old. A Louisville man's arrested after police say he sexually assaulted a child within his own family, and the details in the story are disturbing. Court documents say over the last month, Antoine Fields raped a 14-year-old girl who he was related to 4 separate times. Police say Fields would take the victim to Graves Lane in his car and force himself on her. He's also accused of recording all the interactions. The teen reported the assaults to police earlier this week, and Fields was arrested Tuesday and confessed to everything that happened shortly after. Fields is now in Metro Corrections facing 4 counts of rape along with other charges. LMPD arrested 2 teenagers in connection to a rash of carjackings in the Portland neighborhood. 18-year-old Kamian Bright's been charged with 7 counts of robbery and 1 count of receiving a stolen weapon. The other suspect is 16 years old, so police have not identified that person facing 2 counts of robbery. Police say the pair is behind several carjackings in Portland from July 12th through July 24th. The judge set Bright's bond at $60,000 cash. He should be back in court August 2nd. LMPD's robbery unit is investigating. The Jeffersontown Police Department is expanding its access to naloxone. The department now has 25 permanent overdose emergency kit boxes. These are part of the department's REACH Unity initiative to reduce the number of opioid overdoses in the city. The approach includes expanding access to Narcan training, placing Narcan in high-risk hotspots, preventative outreach activities, and more. Jeffersontown is significantly impacted by the opioid epidemic, with the current overdose rates of 137 people per 100,000 residents. Each box will be registered on the Find Naloxone Now website. For more information, go to this story on wave3.com. Some Southern Indiana students are already back in the classroom this week. It was the first day of school for students in Lanesville Community and Silver Creek schools on Thursday. In Sellersburg, Silver Creek High School still looks like a construction site. Crews are in the process of a major project right now to create new classrooms, a performing arts center, and a new cafeteria.
On the front side of the building, that's our new classroom space. That is ahead of schedule. That was originally supposed to be done around December, January, and now we're looking at about October, November. When that's finished, we'll move most of our students into that area, and then we'll start remodeling the old part of the building.
Silver Creek says this is part of their 5-year strategic plan to improve the district. You can expect to spend about $850 on school supplies and clothing this year. This is according to the Kentucky Retail Federation. Back-to-school spending across the U.S. will reach nearly $39 billion. For teachers, they say they can spend upwards of $700 a year on supplies for their classroom. I'm sure many people will be out and about this weekend buying those school supplies. Tawana?
Oh, yes. So just keep in mind that we do have some rain chances showing up mainly on Sunday with some dry drier and hotter conditions on Saturday. But for today, going to peek into Valley Station for your forecast for today. We're talking about those upper level clouds overhead for you with highs in the mid to upper 80s for later on this afternoon. Now, there are some spots that can touch 90 degrees later on today. Let you know where those could be after the break.
And we're counting down to the Paris Olympics. Just 12 hours and 21 minutes to that opening ceremony. You can watch it just one place, Wave and NBC. Breaking right now on Sunrise, former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama have endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris for President of the United States. Olivia has more right now in this Wave News Alert.
Shannon, the Obamas shared a video this morning showing them calling Vice President Harris by phone to offer their endorsement. The Obamas called on Americans to join them in getting to work to elect the vice president and gave their support and commitment to doing everything they can to make her the next president of the United States. Earlier, NBC News reported that former President Obama and Harris have been in close touch since she announced her presidential candidacy on Sunday, having multiple conversations this week as Harris kicked off her campaign. Sources familiar with the discussions say aides to Obama and Harris have discussed their appearing together on the campaign trail at some point. Shannon?
Olivia, thank you. Okay, so we're going to be watching the Olympics. So excited. And keep an eye out for some Kentucky and Indiana athletes who will be competing. That includes U of L student athlete Jaden Ulrich. She's U of L's first track and field athlete to earn a spot on Team USA. She placed second in women's discus throw at the Olympic trials. Yaron Nugusi from Louisville will run in track and field. He went to Manual High School and went to Tokyo for the 2020 Olympics. Blake Pirioni from IU will compete in swimming, his third Summer Olympics. He swam in 2016 and 2020 Summer Olympics and won 3 gold medals. Lily King from Evansville will also go to Paris in swimming. She's won 2 gold medals, 2 silver medals, and 1 bronze medal already in the past. And Sunny Choi, who grew up in Louisville, will represent Team USA by breakdancing. Breakdancing is debuting at the Paris Olympics. And we're keeping a track for you on all the medals Team USA earns, whether it's gold, silver, or bronze. We'll keep you updated on that medal count right here on Wave. It's 6:43 now, and the Ohio Supreme Court says if you order boneless wings, you should expect some bones in it. Yeah. I know, Tawana's confused about this. Okay, that is the opinion of the court when it ruled against a man who sued a restaurant in 2017 after swallowing a boneless wing that had a bone in it. According to court documents, the man said the bone lodged in his esophagus, which then became infected, and the man lost the case in court in 2017, which said that it is common sense to know a meat dish could have bone fragments in it. The man appealed that decision to the Ohio Supreme Court in 2023. Thursday, the Supreme Court agreed with the lower court. But that question still remains. If you get boneless wings,
it's boneless.
It's boneless. I agree with you.
It's supposed to be just an upscaled version of a chicken nugget. We all know that's what a boneless wing is anyway. So
agree.
Like, no, don't put a bone in my boneless wing. No.
Yeah, I would not expect there to be a bone.
Because, like, you give that to kids, and that's how you, like, advertise it.
Right.
Let's let that say, like, a chicken tender is supposed to have a bone in it. I'm very upset about it.
You're very worked up over this. Wow.
So okay.
All right.
That was going to be the thing that I am
okay?
Like, yeah, I'm fine.
She's had some coffee
I've
this
had
morning.
some coffee, so I'm, like, hyped up right now.
Okay.
But, yeah, who knew that was going to be the thing that got me all riled up this morning? Let's talk about the weather, which is a lot calmer than my emotions right now in just 30 seconds. Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Tawana Andrew here. Calmer, but still having that caffeine in my system. What we're dealing with across the area right now, the stationary front sliding a little bit further to the south. And we're going to keep an eye on it, though, because as it hovers nearby, we can still deal with a couple of isolated downpours as the day goes along. We already saw one pushing through parts of Spencer County earlier this morning, but everyone dry just with the upper level clouds overhead. You can see those upper level clouds clearly showing up on our storm tracker right at the waterfront. beautiful start to the day. So shout out to Corey, the driver, this morning for getting this amazing shot for us. Your temperature is mainly in those 60s and low 70s. A touch cooler, though, in portions of southern Indiana because, one, you've had thinner clouds overhead, so that allowed more of that heat to escape into the atmosphere, and two, your humidity is a little bit lower compared to everyone else's, so that is why you're a little bit cooler this morning. We're going to be watching these upper level clouds continuing to stream overhead throughout the day, and there's still that chance for a stray downpour or two, especially for those of you along and south of the parkways as we head into the afternoon and evening. But any rain chances will be very isolated. The majority of us going to be dry, and anything that pops for the afternoon and evening will fade as we approach midnight. Now, some of these clouds will clear overnight into early tomorrow morning, and as some drier, less humid air moves into wave country behind that front sinking to the south, will fall down into the low to mid 60s for our lows in most spots. But I would not be surprised if some of our valleys, especially in Indiana, fell down into the upper 50s for tomorrow morning. As we look ahead to the next 10 days, we do have some more of that heat around for your Saturday with highs in the upper 80s and low 90s, some sunshine around for tomorrow, but then we up those rain chances on Sunday. There is this area of low pressure that's going to be moving towards us Sunday into Monday. And since it will be able to tap into some of that Gulf moisture, it will bring that potential for locally heavy rain. Now, rain is good, yes, but with many of us dealing with an ongoing drought, too much heavy rain on very dry soil can easily run off and cause some flooding issues. So we'll have to keep a very close eye on that Sunday and Monday forecast. Getting into the middle of next week, notice we're going to keep some more of these scattered showers and thunderstorms in our forecast for both your Tuesday and Wednesday, but as you start drying out, our temperatures start to heat up with low 90s showing up for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. Not completely taking that rain chance out of the forecast for Thursday and Friday, but at least for right now, things are trending drier. Once we get towards the following weekend, some more of those scattered showers and thunderstorms will come back into our forecast as we see highs in the upper 80s and low 90s then.
Thanks, Tawana. LMAS is continuing to deal with overcapacity, which could cause the number of dogs euthanized this year to go up. We showed you this video of 22 dogs in a pack roaming a neighborhood. A Metro Council member told Wave News LMAS is at capacity and could not take them in. We asked the head of the organization and community advocates about what needs to happen to fix the problem. As of yesterday, the organization has 322 dogs in its shelter and at least 435 dogs in foster homes. The director says they could end up euthanizing up to 600 dogs this year. LMAS is getting help through a number of partnerships, and they hope to provide pet owners in need with some essentials like food, crates, and other services so dogs can stay in their homes. Some community advocates say keeping dogs out of the shelter will only go so far.
We can't get out of this with people fostering and adopting. I mean, the numbers are just too high. What we need to do is spay and neuter our dogs.
Other advocates tell Wave News legislation needs to pass so offenders have harsher consequences. LMAS says adoptions are up this month, so that's good news, and they also say their foster program has helped alleviate the stress. Amazon workers in Kentucky walked off the job at the company's largest air hub. Employees organizing with the Teamsters at KCVG walked off the job Wednesday. The demonstration was a one-day unfair labor practice strike fueled over claims concerning surveillance, discrimination, and retaliation for engaging in union activity. Workers at the hub began organizing with the Teamsters earlier this year. They filed several unfair law practice charges against the company, claiming federal labor law was violated. We did reach out to Amazon for comment and so far have not heard back. Here's Olivia taking a look at the big stories we're following from around the country and the world.
Developing news out of Paris this morning, where France's state railways company says there were several coordinated malicious acts, including arson, that targeted high-speed train lines overnight. Officials say the massive attack was aimed at paralyzing the high-speed line network. The train lines will be disrupted throughout the weekend. Of course, all this coming as the Olympic torch relay nears the end of its long journey across France and just hours before the start of tonight's opening ceremony. Authorities in Florida say they're ready for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to Palm Beach County on Friday. Netanyahu is scheduled to meet with former President Donald Trump at his Mar-a-Lago resort. The Palm Beach County Sheriff says they're well trained, having protected Trump there for 4 years. And video game voice actors and performers in Hollywood are set to go on strike today over artificial intelligence concerns. SAG-AFTRA announced the strike of the interactive media agreement that covers video game performers. The union said the strike is over failed labor contracts, AI concerns, and pay after months of negotiations. Those are some of your top headlines. Shannon will have more local news coming up in your Wake Up Watch List.
Taking a look at the top stories we're watching in your Wake Up Watch List. A man is dead after he was shot by Louisville police near Valley Station. Around 9:30 last night, police found a man who was agitated in the home on Eaglewood Drive. LMPD Interim Chief Paul Humphrey said officers tried to de-escalate the situation, but the man picked up a knife and would not drop it, even though he was told to do so. LMPD's Public Integrity Unit is now investigating. This week, Antoine Proctor was sentenced for the execution-style killing outside Caesars Southern Indiana Casino. Now, charges have been filed accusing a second man of murder. Harrison County Prosecuting Attorney Otto Schock says Chaz Davis has been charged with murder in the death of Lil Don Williams. Davis has not yet been booked into the Harrison County Jail at last check. And Jefferson County Clerk's offices were the target of a Russian cyber attack. The hacking has closed those offices since Tuesday, with closure notices posted on the doors, but those signs may be coming down as early as today, with an updated status to come at noon today. The clerk hopes all branches will reopen by Monday. All right, you made it to Friday. Here is Tawana taking a look at the weather.
And things are looking really good right now. The storm tracker out at the waterfront. You can see the upper level clouds overhead, making for an interesting sunrise across the area. And we're also seeing temperatures mainly in the 60s and low 70s to kick everything off for today. As we head over the next 12 hours, we'll watch those temperatures jumping into the mid to upper 80s for most spots. Highs near 90 degrees in the metro, and possibly for some of you in southern Indiana, where you have more of that sunshine compared to areas further to the south. So we'll be watching it. Over the next 10 days, we do see some gorgeous weather to start off the weekend, but rain chances bump up for Sunday and Monday. We'll keep those rain chances at least through next Wednesday.
As you can see by our beautiful traffic map, there's not much for me to talk about this morning because there's just so much green out there. A couple of vehicles pulled over on 65, one on the Snyder near 71. But wow, look at that. That's exactly what you want to see for a Friday morning. Our traffic camera showing that I guess nobody's going to work this morning. They're all staying in to watch the Olympic ceremonies, I guess. So, hey, I love that. It's a Friday. That's how you want to start your day.
It sure is. Oh, I wish we were actually there.
I know, right?
Right?
4 years from now.
Yes. Well, we can go to LA.
But sign me up,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, apparently Olivia got dibs.
We have to figure out how to find a croissant this morning.
Send us a message about where the best ones are in our area.
Best croissant. Yeah. Thanks for waking up with us here. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the Olympics. We'll see you on Monday.
Get live streaming news, 24-hour weather, investigations, podcasts, and more. All for free with Wave Now. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and the Wave News app.